Hey everybody, Dr. Joey Kramer. I am the owner and operator of Hope Upper Cervical Spine Center. This is another opportunity for us to further our wisdom and our knowledge regarding the process of upper cervical care in your life. So over the last, I would say, couple of months, I've been noticeably absent from content creation, mainly because I didn't really know what direction I wanted to take. And I think this is a common occurrence that many of us run into in our lives, especially as it relates to our health and our health progress as we travel this time that we have on Earth. And so I started to think about really what do I want this show to be about? And I was starting to think about what do I want to talk about? And I figured that upper cervical is what I do, it's what I'm about, it's what we serve. And so I want to further this journey to help us better understand the objective outcomes of upper cervical care. And really, I think that we are running into this pathway in life that we have to navigate, because one of those pathways is going to take you down this road that will drive you crazy. It is the road of indoctrination that we have had over the last 30, 40, 50 years, that we have been confidently told that if we take this pill, it will solve X symptom. It's more of the if A then B option that we have been accustomed to in our lives. And I was raised that way. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a fault. I can't blame you for that. I can't blame myself for that. It's just how we were given data and how we were given information regarding our ability as human beings to thrive and to survive. And we were given things without the knowledge of understanding corruption when it comes down to medical research involving money and swing politics and manipulating data sets to sway the general public opinion to move down this pathway, right? Because we both know that a cured patient is no longer a patient, right? And so one thing that's really fascinating about this and about the ideology of upper cervical care is that we go down the other route, meaning that we don't want to chase the symptom. We don't want to chase the expectation. We don't want to set unrealistic objective measures for the patient, meaning that I'm going to give you this pill, you're going to take it for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, and it's going to keep your blood pressure artificially low, right? And what's really fascinating to me about this is that we never ask the question, why? Why did it become high? Why did we have vertigo take place? Why did all of a sudden I start developing brain fog? Why did I start having these weird sensations, muscular or neurological, right? In my face, in my head, what is going on with this? Very rarely do we actually get down to the idea of root cause. Very rarely do we look at our food supply, do we look at our nutrition, do we look at the habits surrounding our life, right? Alcohol consumption, sleep patterns, media consumption, activity habits, of working out, of functional movement, right? Those things never ever really come into play. And very often we forget about them. Very often we forget about traumatic injuries, traumatic exposures, right? The death of a parent, the death of a loved one, maybe the abuse that we sustained through our, our early years of life. Maybe we had some trauma from, being bullied or something along those lines. But all of this culminates into a picture of what your health presentation is, right? And so when we, as an upper cervical provider, are given your data, right, about your life history, your life story, it is our objective job to really figure out what can I do to help your system as a unit start the healing process, right? And I don't know if you've ever had to really navigate healing, but healing is not easy. Healing is a very, very big struggle, right? And it's really fascinating because, if you've ever broken a bone, you can't do anything about it. You just have to sit there in your own misery for 8 weeks while it heals itself, right? So why is it any different that if you present with a neurological condition that's been happening for, 10 years, 15 years, that you expect it to be gone fast, right? Or why is it that you've had neck surgery and you had fusions that you all of a sudden want to quit? That you all of a sudden, want to find that quick fix, that one thing that's going to be an injection of some type that's going to solve your problem, right? That's the human nature. The human nature is to adapt to a state to quickly get out of pain or quickly get out of whatever discomfort we are being subjected to. And in today's day and age, I'd make the argument that most of the discomfort we are subjected to is very easy, right? It's not very difficult. In fact, the majority of us have it very, very simple with the amount of information we can consume, the amount of technology we can watch, and the availability of food with the tap of an Uber Eat delivered to your house. You don't even have to leave, right? Heck, I was at the beach last weekend. People could just get food delivered on the beach. You don't even have to leave your setup. I mean, it's awesome to think about, but look at the repercussions. People are obese. They're sitting there just laying in a chair getting drunk all day. It's like, man, was that all you want out of your life? So sorry for that tangent, but here's the idea. So when we go into this idea of upper cervical care, here I am, rein it in, Dr. Kramer. Come on now, buddy. Upper cervical care is designed to assess your upper cervical spine. The way that we do that is we start with a history. We have to understand you, the person. What have you gone through? Where are you trying to go? The second objective that we have to do is this actually something related to the upper cervical spine? We need to have data to show that, right? In our office, the gold standard is computerized infrared thermography. And thermography is a very well-studied mechanism for looking at autonomic health. And many of you will know about the autonomic system simply because of the vagus nerve or simply because of fight or flight, rest and digest. It's a way more complicated than that, but autonomics are a window, right? A picture frame that we can look at to see the status of the health of how your neurology is performing, right? Some doctors might do a EEG, right, to see nerve conduction test. Some doctors may do eye tracking, right? They may do tongue sensations. They might do smell. They might do sensations along your face or your scalp. They would just do these as objective measures to see what do you sense and what should the normal response be, right? So we know that we run the graph. The graph is going to tell us, or the infrared thermography will produce a graph. It'll tell us, is this normal or is this abnormal? And if it's abnormal, it's our job to figure out, how do we create normal, right? How do we create what we understand to be normal? Because let's be real, the amount of understanding we have of normalcy is very, very little. I would say about 10%, right? We have an idea, we have some measurements that may give us a window of optimal performance. However, we don't know what that's going to look like for you. We know there's a range, we know a place you're supposed to go, a direction that we need to, right the ship toward. However, I can't tell you that if you go down this path, it's going to solve all of your problems. It's going to be the miracle cure, and all of a sudden you're going to get better, right? I can tell you that if you go down the upper cervical path, we're going to get to the root cause. We will find an upper cervical issue if it is the exact problem. We will adjust it correctly to put it back into proper juxtaposition, with the bone above being your skull, the bone below being the second or third cervical vertebrae. And we will know that once we establish that into a state of normalcy, your autonomic health over time will have an upward trajectory that will begin to allow you to heal from the inside out. This is why the process takes time, right? It takes months to work through. You just don't go join a gym and get a six-pack in one workout of 3-minute abs, right? You have to actually think about, how am I sleeping? How am I eating? How am I doing on my walking? How am I doing on my water consumption? What is going on with my workout? Am I actually following the rep scheme? Am I committing to it? Am I going through this? Over the weekend, am I falling off the wagon and drinking myself to death and I'm eating a ton of sugar? Like, there's so many variables. Well, the same thing comes into your health, right? When we talk about autonomic health, we have to look at it as a whole. We have to say, hey, listen, this is the direction we want to go, right? You, the patient, me, the doctor, my job is to help provide you with information to drive you towards that goal, right? In the meantime, it is also to give you an adjustment when necessary in the upper cervical spine to ensure that you have the best chance of achieving that goal. So, the ultimate objective of an upper cervical assessment is to evaluate the integrity of the autonomic system. And if it is in a state of disarray or a state of, mechanical fault, it's my job to deliver a force that restores normal integrity at the level of the upper cervical spine that will over time allow your neurological state, the state that controls the entire human existence, to perform at its max capacity at its very best. Now, what that looks like for you is going to be variable for every single patient that comes in here. Yeah, we have an idea of a number of visits. Yes, we have an idea of how to give the adjustment. Yes, we have an idea of the time it's going to take. But that's an idea. That's why it's called practice. This is why it takes time to work through and navigate a healing journey for you. So our objective isn't to have you come in, lay down, snap, crackle, pop. Our objective is not to guarantee you a cure. Our objective is to accompany you on your health journey to help you achieve exactly what it is that you are looking for. And now, if you cannot answer that question, you have no business being in an upper cervical office, let alone being in a medical office in general. You're more likely needing to have a consult with a spiritual director to ask them those life important questions. If not, and you know exactly the direction you want to go, then understand that upper cervical is here to help you guide that, to help you walk that path, to help you put ease into your nervous system so you have a greater success in achieving your goal.